Good morning, everybody. It's Mark Finan in the Home Weather Office on this Friday morning. It's the 10th day of March, 2023. A pretty good rain last night and during the day yesterday. Things calming down now. The gusty winds we had last night now gone. It'll be breezy from time to time today, but it doesn't look as though we'll see anything gusting as high as what we saw last night. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what's ahead, including the next atmospheric river that's headed our way for early next week, and also show you the latest on the river levels and where they're headed. Some better news there, so we'll get to all of that. I also want to give a shout out and a thanks to Juan Brown, who gave me a mention yesterday in his video, and because of that, there are a lot more of you watching this video probably today. And also, I want to mention to those of you that were looking for a Facebook Live chat last night, didn't happen because we had more stuff going on at the office. There wasn't time for a chat. I apologize if you looked for it. There will be one tonight at 8 o'clock unless the office gets in the way. Without further ado, let's get to what is going on. We'll start off with the radar, and as I record this, a little after 8:30 on Friday morning, as you can see, there is still some lingering rain in the foothills. Nothing heavy, but the foothill locations saw about a little over 2 inches of rain. The valley saw about an inch to an inch and a quarter of rain. Still getting some good rain into Mariposa County, occasional rain into Stanislaus County. The best part of the atmospheric river is now sinking to the south, and it will stay there for much of the day. And I think a lot of areas around Sacramento and Stockton will end up staying dry. This is the way the North American model depicts that, and you can see that best moisture is headed to Southern California. Snow levels today around 6,500 feet. There will be occasional chain controls in the Sierra. This is Friday evening. As you can see, maybe still some showers south of Interstate 80, some light snow, especially south of Interstate 80. Then let's get into Saturday. This is Saturday morning. And again, this is the North American model. This area of precipitation is likely going to rise back up to the north, giving us more on-again, off-again rain during the day Saturday like this. This is Saturday early afternoon. So we get back into rain in Butte County and Sacramento County and places like El Dorado County. The rain's just going to continue. The snow level, not much change tomorrow, maybe 6,000 feet, something like that. This is just after sunset on Saturday night. And then during the day Sunday, more of the same, just this weak rain. Now, the rain that I'm showing you here, it isn't going to be heavy, and it isn't going to be windy. It's just going to be kind of that nuisance rain that gets in your way if you're, planning on doing anything. This is Sunday afternoon. And yeah, it just stays wet, especially in the foothills. So this is how areas like Grass Valley and Colfax and Placerville and Camino and McCullum Hill and San Andreas and Twain Harte, we're just going to stay wet throughout much of the weekend. And then this is getting into Monday. We still have some of that hanging around even before the next atmospheric river gets here. So to give you an idea of the kind of the nuisance rain we're talking about, this is the total rain between now and Monday afternoon. And for the valley, it's generally less than an inch. Up on the west slope, yeah, as I scan over that, you can see it's 5 inches of rain. A couple of these blue spots here, that's 6-7 inches of rain. That would be up maybe toward the Bucks Lake area. And then this is down toward the high country of Yosemite. So we're not going to see enough rain to cause, I should mention this, I'm not going to see enough rain in the valley to cause problems with area streams and creeks. I know there'd been a fear for a lot of people that we would see things like Arcade Creek or Dry Creek flood. That's certainly not going to happen. Deer Creek that goes across Scott Road, that'll continue to do that. And the Cosumnes will run high, but the forecast is actually lower, and I'll be getting to that in just a minute. So over the next couple of days, nuisance rain, no worry about flooding rain. Oh, and one other thing I should mention is that even with the rain last night and the fear of all the snow melt, the inflows into places like Oroville and Folsom, they're relatively modest. I mean, there's some good inflows, but they're being matched by the outflows. But we're not seeing anything like 100,000 CFS coming into Folsom Lake right now. All right, let's talk about these atmospheric rivers. And here is the one that we have now. And as you can see, it's kind of sinking to the south into Southern California. But there'll be enough moisture. And by that, I mean, if I look here, this is Saturday. You see how, let's see, just for those of you that don't know what I'm showing you here, this is the moisture across the Pacific, and I'm looking at California here. Those are the Aleutians. Hawaii is down in here. And so these areas of the bluer color, those are really high levels of water in the atmosphere. The areas of brown, very dry atmosphere. But these areas of green aren't bad. And we'll have the jet stream aimed at us, so even though we're not going to see gully washer kind of rain over the weekend, it's this kind of flow that keeps us in some nice rain. So then we wait for the next atmospheric river, and you can see it starting to form here. This is Monday morning, and there it is there on Tuesday. This is Tuesday morning, and as you can see, that area blue and indicating precipitable water over 1.25 inches, which is good. And that's how we get another really good shot of rain on Tuesday that tapers off on Wednesday. And you can see once again, it sags to the south. The models are trying to bring in another one, but it falls apart by Friday. It encounters too much dry air on Friday. And then there's the chance of the third one we've been looking at, and the latest models fizzle it out. This is it. So we've been talking about the possibility of maybe getting 3. Right now, the models don't depict that. They take that one a little bit farther south, which means that even though we'd see some rain, you can see this is by the time we get into a week from Tuesday that we'd be talking about more dry air. So we certainly have one more atmospheric river coming our way, but maybe not 2. Let me show you the way the GFS is going to show that precipitation on Tuesday. So this is Monday, that light rain I showed you, and then here comes that next atmospheric river. This is Tuesday morning. Snow level probably staying around 6,000 feet. Winds gusty, probably in a similar range to what we saw last night. And then this is Tuesday afternoon, a really good shot of rain in here. I'll show you, well, actually I don't have it queued up, but we're probably going to see another 1.5 to 2 inches of rain out of this, with even more in the foothills. But the snow level will be low enough, around 6,000 feet, that we're going to continue to see less snow melt than a lot of people have been talking about. This is Wednesday morning, and then we clear out Wednesday afternoon and into the day on Thursday. So with that in mind, I also want to talk about some of the area rivers. So let's go to the River Forecast Center office. I'm going to start with the Cosumnes River here because this is some of the good news. This is where we are right now. It's been rising. It's up to 8.8 feet. This is the forecast, 12.3 feet. That is lower than the forecast was yesterday. The forecast yesterday had it going well above flood stage, and it does have another peak here on Tuesday from the second atmospheric river. But this level here means that we're going to see less water going downstream into Wilton, certainly less than what we were thinking during the day yesterday. All right, I want to show you a few more rivers here because there is a lot to get through here. Let's talk about the Tuolumne River in Modesto, if I can get to that. Come on, you can do it. Here we are. The Tuolumne River in Modesto. This too forecast to rise well above monitor stage, and this level of 53 feet. This is higher than the level we saw back in January. There is a community on the south side of the river by 9th Street in Modesto that has been evacuated, or they put up an evacuation warning, and I think the folks are getting out of that out of that location. And if I can just call up 1 or 2 more here for you. I also want to point out the Sacramento River here. So a lot going on for the Sacramento River. Here's where it is now. Here's where it's heading by the time we get to the day on Tuesday. It goes above what's called monitor stage. There are releases coming out of Oroville. There are releases coming out of Folsom, releases out of Bullard's Bar. All of that eventually has to come past Sacramento. So what you're going to see is a rise on the Sacramento River, but this is about the same level, a little bit lower than what we saw back in January. But for those of you that use the bike path along the levee, or you go to Old Sacramento and you see the rivers coming up, it's well within its banks. It's not an issue, and it's not high enough that they're going to open the weir, the Sacramento Weir, or anything like that. But it will come up, and so I think that's the bottom line here on a lot of the area rivers, is that you are going to see them come up. But I think all the inflows into the reservoirs are being managed quite well with modest outflows. There's going to be outflows out of Oroville today, which should be spectacular, but it's only around 7,000 CFS coming down the spillway. And, you know, for those of you not familiar with the gauges there on CFS, something like 50,000 CFS would be a really big outflow. 7,000, not so much. So there will be nice steady flows coming down the Feather, the Yuba, the American, Sacramento, but nothing that's going to overwhelm the system. You'll just notice rises on those rivers, but nothing too big. So that's what I've got for you this morning. We will have, let's see, I'll be on the news tonight at 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, and 11. And if everything goes right, I'll be on Facebook tonight at 8 o'clock. Enjoy your Friday.